Hi there. Did you ask yourself why ECB and Bank of England are still holding the rates very high? Even the inflation is cooling down, of course, but not fully defeated. And I believe that the central banks are scared of cutting too early the rates. Why this is happening? First of all, because in the past, when central banks relaxed too fast, inflation came back stronger. And the currencies, of course, weakened and everybody lost the credibility. So today, central banks prefer not to go very quickly with the cutting rates rather than lose control of inflation. So now I will tell you 3 reasons why central banks are delaying the rate cuts. First of all, inflation psychology. Even if inflation numbers look better, people still expect prices to rise. So, and if central banks cut now, spending will increase and inflation will restart. Second point, wage pressure. So wages in Europe and in the UK are still rising. So the salaries went up, not now, but some months ago, and now they are still rising. So when we have higher wages, of course we have higher costs and higher prices. What this means? Inflation. And third point is political risk. So in the last 1 year, we had full of elections and geopolitical tension. Central banks want to look independent, tough and very conservative. They are doing now kind of optimistic scenario, pessimistic scenario, and they will take a decision later, but only when they are 100% sure. So now, why I'm telling you all of this, how this will impact different investors around the world. So real estate investors, for example, they understand that mortgage stay expensive. So why mortgage is expensive? It's simple, because the rates in the banks are very high. So second, property prices stay under pressure. Will appear a lot of distressed assets, I believe. And up to now, the best deals will go to the cash buyers. Why cash buyers? Because there is no cheap money in the market. The banks does not allow to cut down the rates and have cheap loans. So this is kind of accumulation phase, and this is not an exit phase. So everybody is looking who has cash to buy now. But people which does not have cash, they will wait until the moment the banks will cut down the rates. So now, what would be the big insight I'm giving you today? So please don't invest any money until the moment the rates of the bank come down. Why is so? Because when the rates will be cut down, you'll have cheap money. And you don't need to invest from your own pocket money. You need to always work with others people's money. Because the cost of capital, the cost of equity is much higher than the cost of debt. Okay, now let's talk about this in a very simple example. Imagine in 2021 we had like a mortgage rate of 1.5%. For a 5 million property financed with 100% loan, everyone could buy, right? And now in 2024, 2026, mortgage rates increases by 4, 5, 6%. So the same property with the value of 5 million euro, the financing costs are around 40, 60% higher. So, and many investors, they cannot refinance, they cannot sell at old prices, they needed liquidity. So now, this is exactly what I wanna explain you. And the main, let's say, lesson from this news around the world is that we need to wait for the final decision of central banks until the moment they cut down the interest rates, and then we should look for real estate to buy. Actually, you can look from now on, but just lock in the deal. What means locking in the deal? You find a property, you make a letter of intent or expression of interest, or even you draft a sale purchase agreement with a small advance payment and promising to the seller to buy the property in about 6 months or even 12 months from now. This means you're locked in the deal. You did not pay your own equity money, which are very expensive. Remember, equity is much more expensive than debt. And then after 6 months, you go to the bank with this property and say, hey guys, I want to finance at 1.5%. So this would be the right method of doing and not spending your own equity. Now, you don't need to sell, just wait, because if you wait until the money becomes cheap, then you will sell your property very high price, for a very high price. So guys, stay tuned. I will keep you informed about what is happening in the finance market and how to generate cash flow and income from the opportunities you see in the market. Thank you. Have a nice day.